If you've been stuck in anxiety, depression, or a nonstop mental churning, this bonus track explains the root of it, the tension of living two lives, and why lasting peace comes from clearing core beliefs, not controlling circumstances. This is bonus track one from There's a Hole in My Love Cup, the root of all depression and anxiety. Quick note, this is for reflection and education, not therapy or medical advice.
Bonus track 1, the root of all depression and anxiety. The thing that you have to understand is that basically all spiritual unrest manifests as one or two of two things: depression and or anxiety. In other words, whatever is actually going on deep inside of you is one thing, but how you experience it, i.e., the way you know that there is a problem, is either depression or anxiety, which can feel like fatigue, lack of interest, never-ending turning of the mind, apathy, numbness and or nervousness, busyness, agitation, fighting, lethargy, hopelessness, unrest, etc. And you know it's bad when it just doesn't stop, persisting for months or even years and decades. And the belief of the badass counseling, which is my method for spiritual counseling, as opposed to psychology, religion, or life coaching, is that this is not a result of your immediate life situation, per se, or even because of some chemical imbalance or bad behaviors, but in fact causes them. My belief and the core of my work is that depression and anxiety invariably result from someone living two lives, who they really are deep down and who they're trying to be on the outside to either win praise or avoid criticism. The root of nearly all depression, in fact, the greater fear of every person, is the sheer terror of showing the world who I really am, because if I show you, you may not like me. You may reject me. You may do or say something that would hurt just as it hurt so much as a kid when I expressed myself and was gunned down, criticized, or in some other way hurt. Rather than relive that hell of showing the world who I really am, it is better to keep who I really am, my authentic self, locked inside. Of course, the downside of that way of living is that there is forever this grating, this massive internal tension and unrest about midway between your chest and gut, where the external world you're trying to force into your whole being meets the truth of your internal, eternal self and soul. There the two meet and grind in a forever dissonant and painful scraping, like tectonic plates below ground, forever creating earthquakes on the surface. And so the depression and anxiety grow out of living this fake external life. And when we try to live that way, the soul grieves and bleeds any hope for future aliveness. Further, the soul and life energy of the individual are so greatly taxed in trying to keep up the facade that the soul requires constant rest, both to keep things going, but also to mourn another day of truth lost, another day of self gone to the wind. Yet the mind will scurry through days, feverishly trying to generate successes of some sort, always success, to make you feel important, feel like and believe that you are somebody, when inside you think that you're a nobody, nothing. That scurrying is the anxiety, the ever present fear of nothingness, while trying to force somethingness. There is a third way in which a life unlived manifests itself, and that is lack of clarity. I find that a great many of my clients seek not only the experience of feeling at peace in their being and fully alive in their experiences, but also the experience of a mind that is not forever churning and turning, forever trying to solve the whole equation of their unfulfilling life. It is this churning, this feeling completely awash in one's own untangible thoughts, fears, drives, and wants that leads to all manners of maladaptive, inappropriate, or destructive behaviors. Each one of these things becomes a friend of sorts, the one thing that enables you to turn off your mind, even if only for a few hours. These things, for years, enable a person to survive the massive oppression of a full mind, even while simultaneously raping every other aspect of the individual's life. from the draining bank accounts to blowing up relationships, from oppressing one's own children to killing brain cells, from driving you into reclusiveness to generate massive self loathing, and from cooking your inner organs to, did I mention, bleeding off all your money? That longing for mental clarity and peace is a massive driver. Clarity and peace are natural bedfellows. Clarity is an extremely powerful tonic. Meditation is a powerful tool for quieting the mind in a positive way, as are the exercise, yoga, sex, physical labor, and even religious services and prayer, but they're only temporary. The high wears off. It's like you're constantly having to put out the fires of new problems, new anxieties, new headaches, and new hardships. The effects are fleeting as the endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin wears off. Unless you uproot the original thoughts and beliefs that created the unrest and pain in the first place, you'll forever be fighting this battle of trying to quiet your mind, having unrest, trying to quiet the mind, unrest, quieting, unrest ad infinitum. The big mistake people make in seeking peace is attempting to control and reduce negative external circumstances and increase positive external circumstances, as if any of that is possible without becoming totally neurotic. External circumstances are willy, slippery things not prone to being controlled. Positive situations can never be held in place and maintained for long periods, and negative situations never stop coming. Try to short circuit either or both of those truths, and your anxiety level will go through the roof and stay there. Yes, there will always be hiccups, hurdles, and hardships coming at you from life. And thus, there will always be anxieties and sadness, as well as the need to release them. But the effect of daily anxieties and setbacks is far, far, far less when all of the other major life blows are no longer inside of you. The big mistake is going outside rather than inside. Or the problem is looking inside but not going deep enough. In other words, the real and only lasting solution is to control and reduce the internal negative beliefs and negatively charged memories and cement, which are what's really weighing you down, not your bills, your boss, or your responsibilities, and simultaneously increase the positive internal beliefs. The only solution is to go down to the level of the core beliefs and the soul. When a lifetime of hurt is still inside of you, it only takes the smallest slight or provocation to cause a lifetime of pain to come to the surface and come spilling out. If you have a mug full to the top of piping hot coffee and then agitate that mug just a little bit, guess what comes spilling out onto whatever or whomever is near? Piping hot coffee. Or add even a tiny amount more of piping hot coffee to that full hot mug, and guess what? Yep, the scalding stuff spills out and burns whomever is near. Yep, we're always burning those closest to us, not furthest away. And sure, it feels good to get agitated and spill out some of the burning liquid, but it feels good to not have so much burning inside. But there are other ways to empty that mug. Further, if you empty that mug of all the piping hot coffee and then pour in a small or even medium to large amount of piping hot coffee, guess what comes spilling out? Nothing, because the cup still isn't anywhere near capacity. Or if you have a mug that has a little to no piping hot coffee in it, it can take a massive amount of agitation and shaking before any hot stuff comes out to burn those people around it. It is the same with soul pain. Imagine living with an empty coffee mug, no scalding stuff, no crud, no inner anxiety and pain, no dead end spirit. It becomes easy to deal with the day to day trials and mishaps or even deaths and loss without them becoming overwhelming and totally depression inducing. Once you remove the originating beliefs and thoughts, peace is inevitable. And thus, any new stressors that come down the pike become very easily manageable because they are not the incessant straw breaking the camel's back again and again. But when the mug isn't full of scalding, cruddy stuff, it can be filled with love and happy stuff. And when you agitate a mug of love, guess what spills out? Love, not scalding, pain, and hurt. To have not only peace in your heart and joy in your life, but also clarity in the head is a tremendously relaxed yet powerful place to be in life. And it is not only possible, but likely if you have the courage to go inside rather than outside, to let go of that which no longer is you. And I'm talking mainly the stuff that is in you that you think you're required to carry around, beliefs and values that simply are not you and are thus creating a massive amount of dissonance in your gut and mind. Life only truly begins when we have the courage to cut from our lives the very deep, true sources of depression, anxiety, and incessant mental agitation. Journaling and book recommendations. 1. What are the parts of you that you're most afraid to show the world and why? 2. In your intimate relationships, what are the 3 things you're most afraid to show about yourself to your partner? Why? What are you most afraid will happen? Are you afraid that he or she will reject you? 3. What about in your friendships? What are the 2 or 3 things that you're most ashamed of or most afraid to show people? 4. What is the one career path or life choice you most want but are most afraid to make or reveal? A. Why do you want that? What's really at the heart of wanting that? And B. What is the biggest reason you're afraid to make that decision or reveal that truth? And 5. How does your inner life most manifest in your outer life as depression or anxiety? 6. Who are the 1 to 3 people who would most accept you and love you no matter what you revealed about yourself and why? How have these people won your trust? And 7. Who are the 1 to 3 people whom you know for fact would most judge or criticize you if you were to reveal more of your truths? Why? What evidence have they given you in the past that they would criticize you? Now, if you read no other book besides this one, let it be The Sedona Method by Hale Dwoskin, which details the method for decharging your past and present that was created and perfected by Lester Levinson. It is very fast, highly effective method for emptying out all the pain inside and living free and imperturbable as you go on about your life. However, do not attempt to read the book if you are not going to follow through. The Sedona method is not so much a book as a workbook. It requires the daily discipline to work the very simple formula for, say, 20 minutes per day. You can do it on your morning commute to work. If you are a person who regularly works out, goes to yoga, meditates, or engages in any other form of self discipline, you can do the Sedona method on your own. But you got to do the daily work as your spiritual discipline. If you lack self discipline or just lack time, this book may not be best for you, even though it is a book that is one of the top 3 most life changing books I have ever read and used. In that case, the Sedona method is offered as weekend workshops, which I also strongly recommend and have sent clients and members of my own family to. That too requires turning it into a brief daily habit for 60 days minimum, but it is easier to keep that habit when you've laid the foundation for it over a weekend with other people and a teacher. Whichever you use, book or workshop, I simply cannot recommend this highly enough for decharging internal memories and emptying out the scalding, cruddy stuff from inside. If it is used every day, the Sedona method can and will change your life.
Take a moment to notice what stirred for you as you listened. You don't need to fix it or understand it yet. If this resonated, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what stood out for you. You can also find the full series and my work linked below.